There.
you go.
Okay, there we go. Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Kevin Yanushek.
Ann Zimmerman.
Ashley Campbell.
Bruce Richardson.
Larry Pencratz.
Paul Gebhardt.
John Miller.
Staff confirmation that the Kansas Open Meeting Act required notice has been properly provided.
It was.
Thank you. We got the roll call. Let's get that twice.
Yeah, it's on there twice.
No guests. Have no citizen forum.
Okay.
Uh,
I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Approval
of-
We have to vote.
Huh?
We have to vote on the approving
Oh.
agenda.
I approved it. That's good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, approval of minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Activity reports, please.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson and the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. Typically, I kind of highlight some things before this meeting. I did not get a chance to do that, so I'm gonna wing it. Just go through some various highlights of the staff report, and of course, at all times, if you have any questions about anything that I do not cover, please ask. So November, you know, we're getting a time of year where we're putting things to bed, whether it be irrigation system, landscaping beds, equipment for the season. Mowing tends to wrap up, so that's kind of like you'll see some themes in here relating to that, and also preparing for the spring, whether it be adding not herbicide, but pre-emergence or putting in bulbs for spring bulbs. Let's see. If you didn't know, we had a swing set at Jerry Ivy Park that had I probably not going to do a very good job of explaining it, but it had a broken metal piece on the top bar of the swing set at Jerry Ivy, and it could not be repaired. We had to buy a new unit, and that was put in. Or it's going to be put in. The old one was removed. Had the Crossroads Marathon was in early November. We provided trash cans, and they of course accessed many of our parks for the marathon. Planting fall fertilizer, spraying for broadleaf weeds, planting trees. Let's see. We had a senior program. We took a trip, Smoky Valley Dinner Train. We kicked off toddler time in November at the field house, and that's that's not a picture of toddler time, but it's at the field house. The picture is for the Take self-defense class that was held at the field house with 46 participants. That was the first time we offered that program, the Take self-defense class.
Do you know what TAKE stands for?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Andrea does or Morgan, but I do not.
It's the Allie Kemp Education Foundation, I believe. She was a lifeguard at a pool in Overland Park.
That's right.
That was murdered while she was on duty at the pool. But her dad started an initiative to teach self-defense to young women to try and keep things like that from happening.
Thank you.
So was someone that taught it locally?
We had a lady come down from Overland
Oh, cool.
that came down specifically for that, and she taught it.
Back on the senior citizen program, does your therapeutic recreation person take care of that too? Okay.
Correct.
I didn't know if that was both duties.
Yes,
Yeah.
Post-COVID, we had a full-time position and a part-time position, and we combined the duties into one full-time role for therapeutic recreation programming and senior programming, and a little bit of special events in there. Kenwood Cove, providing early bird membership prices, and those are on sale now. We typically provide those at a reduced price until, I believe, February.
Do you have a good turnout for that? The early bird? Good reception to it?
I'll let Andrea.
Yes, we usually have a pretty good. I try to remind people every year, and I need to get it posted on social media. I have not yet, but it is a chance to get those prices at 15% off. Yes.
For how long are these early bird prices?
So every year it goes from December 1st until the last day of February. So it'll be February 28th this year.
Yeah, we've done early bird pricing for Kenwood Cove for memberships for quite a long time. It's been a pretty typical thing we do offer. Salina Municipal Golf Course. We have first tee classes coming up at the field house in January. Start winterizing the golf course. Travis is not here right now, but I'll see what I believe he's on leave today. See if I can provide something. So the astonishing program to me under the Salina Fieldhouse is the popularity and the increased demand every year for youth 3-on-3. It is a wonderfully popular program, and if you're ever at the Fieldhouse, you should just come just to see the spectacle of what youth 3-on-3 is at the Fieldhouse. And how busy it is, and how what kind of demands that many people put on the facility for that 2 or 3 hour period of time, and the number of officials that it requires. And so it's quite an impressive program.
Is that one official per game or group or two? Or?
Honestly, I don't know how many officials that they provide for.
What's the ages?
I do not know. They have a pre-K division. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I think it's, I know they do middle school. I'm sorry, I could not answer your question, Mr. Pankratz.
Go for one more. How about, I don't know what another question. Thank you.
Futsal, indoor soccer, 36 teams. That's also a record, to my knowledge, as far as the number of teams. Futsal, as you might know or may not know, is indoor soccer on a hard court, smaller ball, faster play. And I think we usually did that as a kind of an older adult program, and we've incorporated that into younger teams. And we have 36 teams, and I think the numbers before were 8 to 12 teams, and so we've really expanded that program as well. Bless you. Facilities maintenance, winterizing, bathrooms that are not designed to be open year-round. I wanted to point out that the facilities maintenance staff installed a safe haven baby box, and I provided the website there for what a baby box is. It was a fire station initiated project. It was not a Parks and Rec initiated project. However, our facilities maintenance crew helped install that. And if there's any other questions about anything I didn't cover, please let me know.
I had one question. The very last thing is working on carpet encapsulation cleaning. What is carpet encapsulation cleaning? You don't know either?
Another good question. There were pictures associated with this. It was supposed to be a before and after picture. I removed them because they didn't look anything different than the other picture. I believe it has to do with the, I don't know.
You can report on that in the future.
Yes.
Okay.
So the people that are redoing the Oakdale restrooms, is that the facilities maintenance people, or is that
Right.
your staff?
That's
Or
facilities
finding
maintenance
both?
staff.
Okay.
Facilities maintenance staff have 2 construction techs, and their primary responsibility is for more of the major construction, and primarily the projects they work on are restroom remodels.
Yeah.
They also get into other little more heavy-duty things, whether it be, for example, we're going to be renovating shelters at Bill Burke, where we put in a new structural element and maybe a new post, and that has to be supported while that work is being going on, and pouring a new footing and putting in a structural element. So they also get involved in some of that. But those two construction techs do primarily all the restroom remodel, and then his maintenance techs kind of help out with the finishing of the floor with the epoxy coating. So it's somewhat of a team effort, but yeah.
I spent a lot of time at Bill Burke this summer, and the new restrooms are a big plus. Instead of just that one way and one end, it's been a very positive thing.
Yeah, they look great, and they look great.
Oh, and we noticed that the animal shelter is looking for dog walkers. Is that part of that's?
Yes, I'm sorry, you're right. There was we did not get it into the packets before it got published on Monday evening, but that is the additional animal shelter information that would be part of the activity report.
Sorry, Jeff. I was just going to hop in here. We actually filled our dog walker and part-time kennel tech positions. And the kennel tech, the dog walker's already started. The kennel tech starts on Saturday.
Thank you.
Has there been any update on the Lakewood trout? I know every year we usually stock over there.
Typically the months that I'm recall, and maybe Dennis can add on to any information he might know, November, December, I think there's 4 different distributions, and the timing of which is subject to water temperature.
Sure, that's what I figured. It's been a real mild November and December.
Yeah, it has, and obviously you don't want to put fish into an environment that they would not thrive. So the timing of which, but it's generally this time of year, and then also in the January, February. I have not seen a post from Lakewood Discovery Center to know when they've done that.
Sure, okay.
Usually they make an image of it. I'm guessing that they're waiting. And it also has to do with fish size, total pounds, and the number of fish, and maybe, and so that's somewhat relying upon the provider of the fish, the fishery or the hatchery, to have the right size of fish to be introduced to the pond. So there's some variables there that they have to play with.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's what I had to summarize from the activity reports, and if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Anything on new business?
New business, I have 2 items. On Monday, we are bringing forth to City Commission a project for Matson Field. Matson Field is the northernmost field at Berkeley Family Recreational Area, which is on Markley Road. And that is to regrade that field. It's a grass field with a grass infield, and it's a dirt field with grass infield and grass outfield. It is had been suffering from lots of water coming off the runway for many years, and we are looking to regrade that field to give it a better opportunity for water to kind of shed away from the field itself. That's going to commission. What we're proposing for that is to the original costs. The original project was a project that included sodding the infield and sodding the outfield after the regrade would occur. The cost of the sod made it very expensive to accomplish that project. So Brett Lamer has been working pretty hard to try to find an alternative approach to the project. And so we are going to propose to the City Commission to have a contractor graded to our specifications or graded to an engineer's specifications, and then have staff self-perform with our own staff to seed and irrigate, make sure that seed gets established. The purpose for the sod portion of the project is to have a faster turnaround of play. We could be potentially playing by May or June if we had sod. With seed, you really need at least 2 growing seasons. They have the option, the City Commission has the option of either approach, sodding or seeding. And it's kind of going to be up to them. We are going to recommend that for cost savings purposes to allow staff to seed it ourselves, which will require a longer term closure of the field. And we would be creative in how we would find alternative spaces for other teams, whether it be Pestinger Field, Dean Evans Stadium, Berkeley Family 1 through 4 fields, or Tower Field, which is now called Wilbur Field on the very south end of Berkeley Family. If Travis was here, I think he would say that it's doable. We can make it work. We will make everybody happy, and we'll provide them a place to play and practice. Yeah.
Off of Matson Field, how close is the the fire station going to that?
Mighty close. So the fire station plat, if you will, the land for the fire station is just everything north of the outfield fence.
Oh, wow.
So that area will be under construction relating to fire department, and they'll have their entrance or some way how they use that entrance on that north end of Matson, the north end of Markley Road. There will be somehow for their purposes, for fire department purposes.
That's where they'll exit versus
I
going
don't
on
know.
to Crawford?
I don't know
Yeah.
I'm not sure the ins and outs of how they're planning on using their facility. And I did get a request this week, for example, to use a portion of the southern end of Matson Field, southern end south of the proposed, or the south of the fire station land, to use it as kind of a layout yard for the construction of that, of the fire station. And to me, it's dependent on whether we regrade the field or not. If we're not regrading the field, I need that for parking for Matson Field use. But if we're going to have the field closed for a period of time, it does make some sense to allow them to use that area as a layout yard for construction equipment and a construction trailer and things like that.
So a home run could be a fire truck out?
I believe they're putting in a wall to try to protect. I know there is a wall of some type being put up to protect vehicles. I'm not sure if it's tall enough, though, but, you know. I don't know if I can hit one out. I don't think so. Maybe Brett could. Second thing under new business, we received bids back from contractors relating to the construction of a dog park near Parker Park, which is near Carver Center, which is about 2 properties away from the animal shelter. If you recall, this project was to replace the dog park that's behind the animal shelter, the public dog park that's behind the animal shelter, and putting in a smaller 14,500 square foot dog park in the grassy area by Carver Center. And those bids came back at, it was a little on the expensive side, $213,000. So it's about $17.70 a square foot. I think that's right. Maybe $14.70 a square, $14.70 a square foot. So that's going to be coming up in January 13th. and I wanted to report on that. If you also recall, I might have said that having the public dog park behind the animal shelter is highly advised that we do not continue that practice from the state of Kansas relating to the potential cross-contamination of dogs, whether they be public dogs or animal shelter dogs. And matter of fact, they're surprised that we're still operating that public dog park behind the animal shelter because of that potential cross-contamination and disease control. So that's part of our intent of offering that dog park. Some of the other comments I received were relating to as the downtown or the area near downtown gets developed, such as the Lee building, and people start residing in that, that'd be an option for them to take their dogs to get them off leash and get them some exercise in that area. So I think that has some benefits there.
My opinion is like dog parks, it's kind of like parks. There should be numerous throughout the community versus just one area. So.
Yeah. There is future dog park conversations that need to be involved in the neighborhood that the dog parks would be in. Putting one at Parker Park or next to Carver Center makes a lot of sense because there's already a dog park there. There's not much of a neighborhood. There's not a lot of residents there. The residents that are nearby have already been used to having a dog park in their neighborhood. If I put a dog park at Centennial Park, there's an entire neighborhood that might have an opinion. I'm sure they will have an opinion that I'm putting a dog park. So any future dog park conversations will be involving a public component about giving feedback about their desires for such a thing, whether that be Schilling Park, Centennial Park, Indian Rock Park, and these are all ideas or Sunset Park, of people that have given me ideas about where the dog park should be. And so, yes, sir.
Has there been any more consideration to that one park right at Ash and Broadway there?
Lumfelton Park?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say there's been any consideration for it. We do have some things there. We have a couple picnic tables. I have discussed the possibility of using that for disc golf purposes. I think some of the disc golf folks might have looked at it. I think their opinion of it was a little too linear. It didn't have interesting formations to play disc golf at. It was really just a straight shot if you were throwing a disc. That was some of the brief opinions I got. But we haven't looked at anything other than that. It doesn't have a lot of amenities. There's a house adjacent to it. There's not a lot of opportunity for additional parking. It's quite narrow and long, so it's kind of an interesting place. It's my understanding that some of the history of that was that it was originally provided as an easement for the highway, or for, I wouldn't say the highway, but it was an easement for the overpass, maybe, or something like that. And somehow it got converted to park property. It's, that's what I have to offer right now. But there's not been any development relating to Lumfelton Park.
Okay. Any old business then?
Also on Monday at the City Commission meeting, back in April, we had a conversation with you fine folks about amending certain portions of the master plan. There was approximately 40-some items that we had some discussion about that I'm bringing to the City Commission on Monday relating to, with your recommendation that you provided in April, to remove 40-some items from the master plan priority matrix, which was 187 items that were identified as deferred maintenance. And that is being provided to the City Commission on Monday. And then I do have one other item, Mr. Richardson, if you don't mind, under old business. Rosemary, Miss Mai, and Miss Reynolds are not here in the audience today, but Brett and I are working on doing some visual concepts for Barclay Park improvements relating to additional concrete to provide some gathering spaces and shade structures for that park. And I should have something to show them in the new year, sometime in January. And my next step is to meet with them to show them the visual concepts of what we're coming up with, get their feedback, see if we can come to an agreement on what kind of project we want to do, and the design of that. And then we go about the business of mapping that out, assigning square footages to it, putting an estimate of cost together relating to the shade structure and the concrete, and then working on a way to make it happen. So that's wanted to make sure the board knew that.
Project status updates?
Sure thing. Pestinger Family Stadium, not much to report. As I said last month, I believe, it is substantially complete. The fencing contractor was on site this week, finishing up work. They had some things to correct on a punch list. They were also adding replacing some dugout fencing that was supposed to be, they put in one thing, it was supposed to be another, so it was a punch list item they had to correct. Also, the home run fence that protects balls from flying out of Dean Evans and potentially hitting someone if they were a pedestrian in between Pestinger Family Field and Dean Evans is going up right now. Those poles were put up last week, and I believe I saw them this week putting up the netting, which is a nylon netting to protect balls and protect people, really. Irrigation is going in right now on the exterior areas of Pestinger Family Stadium. That'd be the berm area outside of the outfield, and some of the ends of the foul poles that were disturbed while the project was going in. So our intent is to put in irrigation, and then in the spring, as soon as the soil warms, we'll be putting in grass seed and getting that to grow. We'll also be putting in a little bit of sod as well, because some of those areas are very steep. Steep enough that if water were to hit it, it would wash out some of that seed. So we're going to do some areas with sod. Restroom remodels, as I think we previously reported in the activity report, we are working towards bathrooms at Oakdale Park and also Lakewood Park on the south side. It's anticipated that we'll have those two older model bathrooms in Oakdale Park and Lakewood done before summer. Jerry Ivy Memorial Park improvements. We did receive bids back for Jerry Ivy. We received a bid for Jerry Ivy Memorial Park improvements. They were opened last Thursday, and we had one bid from a local, well-known, respected contractor, Smoky Hill Construction. We're trying to move as fast as possible with that. So that is on the City Commission agenda as well for Monday. And so that's, if you're counting, that's 3 things I have on the agenda for Monday. Plan amendment for the master plan, Jerry Ivy Memorial Park, and Matson Field regrade. And I'm not saying I'm doing 2 of those, Brett's doing another. So but we have a lot of things for the day before Christmas Eve, last meeting of the year. We are working through the the bid that was provided for Jerry Ivy Memorial Park, it was much higher than expected, but mostly because of the timeline that we were trying to achieve. We were trying to get it done by the middle of June, and I think that increased those costs for labor relating to getting that project done. I don't have I know that Glennifer Hill Park is letter D under number 9 there. The city is in the process of preparing to make that of land for sale through an RFP process that's north of Indian Rock Park. And the Sunset Park demolitions should be complete. And complete as far as the demolition is concerned. Soil has been brought in and brought to the level that we desire it to be. And again, a lot of work on springtime for Dennis's staff to seed that as well. So they I've already signed them up for like 3 or 4 seeding projects. So they have their hands full to put seed down this spring.
What's the proposed? What are they going to do with Sunset Park? Because the basketball court came down. Well, I mean not the court, but the fencing.
Correct. The fencing did come down. It was our intent it's my intent to not have fencing around the basketball court.
Okay.
So that will not be going back. The basketball court will stay. There's no desire upon me or anybody or the community to remove the basketball court. It will stay and continue to be a basketball court. Okay. Matter of fact, Dennis this week just started a project for the spring to resurface all the basketball courts that we have in our system, which is 3. We have Centennial Park, Sunset Park, and Pacific Park on the north side, and those all be resurfaced with a similar surfacing that you see on a tennis court. If you're familiar with the tennis courts at Jerry Ivy, it'd be something similar. So the horseshoe area will be restored to grass. The tennis area will be restored to grass. I anticipate sometime in 2025 reaching out to the neighborhood of Sunset Park and having a open forum or a listening session that potentially could be in this room with this board, inviting that neighborhood out to come to this meeting, and give their opinion. And we would, staff would collect those opinions and have them handy when we do propose a project to do something with the areas that will be grass at Sunset Park. But we don't have a direct plan right now for those areas. And I probably we're doing a lot. I may have missed something in the project status, but if there's any questions about any other projects, please ask.
From your study session on parks budget, I read the presentation. It was good. I just didn't. I was traveling. So how did that go?
I thought it went pretty well. I thought it went very well, actually. I think the commissioners and the city management staff are quite proud of our park system. Some of the comments were relating to that our park system looks better than it has in the last 19 years. I'm very proud of that. I think the pride, though, should come to people like Dennis, who has a bigger hand in that than I do. So they look great, and we outlined what we accomplished in 2024, what we are intending on accomplishing in 2025, and then kind of gave a fund balance of where we are financially relating to park improvement funds that are funded from sales tax, and we still have a healthy amount. So every year for the past 3 years, I've provided that overview to the City Commission relating to park master plan items. Some of the other items we put forth for 2025. I've already mentioned Jerry Ivy. I mentioned court painting. I said we were looking at fencing to replace 2.2 miles of fencing. That's old galvanized fencing, and it's the bottom's caved in or it's kicked out, similar to the basketball fencing around Sunset Park. A lot of it's at Berkeley Family Recreational Area, Berkeley Family 1 through 4, Matson Field. That type of fencing needs to be replaced. We have several painting projects. We have several concrete projects. Matter of fact, that's what I was talking to Mr. Richardson about before the meeting started, about some sidewalks and parking lots improvements. And we have a lot on our plate that we'd like to accomplish. And that was the purpose of that 2025 update to the City Commission.
Any general announcements?
Can you explain the post that went out today from Parks and Rec about the adaptive sports for kids? Anything about that?
When Sarah was here, I think last month, she spoke about it at length.
Okay, so it ties into that. Okay.
It was Can Play, which is a partnership that provides curriculum and provides sports-related curriculum to people that have special needs or have disabilities relating to emotional, physical, learning disabilities, emotional disabilities, mental disabilities, and providing a curriculum that she can pull from to provide programming to the community.
Okay.
If that's the post you're referring to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so that would be it then.
Hold on. Yeah, if you want to. We do have one item from general announcements that Andrea Bourne wishes to discuss with the board if you were willing to hear her.
It's about our Christmas bonuses.
We're coming up on the beginning of the new year, which is when the private rental option becomes available for a lot of companies here in Salina for the summer at Kenwood Cove. Right now, our schedule only allows Sunday nights from 6:30 to 9:30 and a 2-hour minimum. Those will be full by the middle of February. And then we have a lot of people that are not happy because we don't have that availability. So I kind of came up with an idea talking to Jeff a little bit. The weeks that we don't have swim lessons, there's 5 Monday nights that we won't have swim lessons this summer, and we could open those up as a possibility for private rentals. Just a couple of numbers to help out with this would be this next summer we will be charging $1,300 an hour for the rental of Kenwood. That's just the whole facility and includes the staff being there for that minimum of 2 hours. The one thing we would be canceling would be our evening water walking on those Mondays. And so it would only be for those 5. And I've got the dates if you're interested. But when I did some of the averages, our average numbers for Monday night water walking in 2024 was actually just under 90 people. But when you do that math at $3 a person, it comes back to $268 for that amount that came in on a Monday night as an average, versus if we did the $1,300 an hour and we could offer it to the community and businesses that like to do a swim for their staff. So I was just going to ask if you guys had any ideas or opinions on that before I open up dates for availability for 2025.
If you didn't catch it from what Andrea said, is that she would be altering her hours of operation to the public on Mondays for 5 Mondays and shortening it by 1 hour.
So I wouldn't I could either do that, I guess I didn't go over, or we could just offer the 7:30 to 9:30 time slot on Mondays and not close
I'm
public
sorry.
swim early.
That was an option we talked about.
Yes,
so
there were
sorry.
two different options, either closing at 6 like we do on Sundays when we have private rentals and cutting an hour public swim, or just offering the 7:30 to 9:30 and not altering public swim but canceling water walking. So those would be the two options for those 5 Mondays.
What time is water walking usually?
7:30 to 9.
Oh, same.
So we're at the same time.
Yeah, it would be just half an hour shorter.
Do you frequently have people go until the 9:30 on the Sundays?
It just depends. Yes. So last year was our first time going until 9 for water. Or you mean for the private rentals?
For the
I'm
private
sorry,
rentals.
Yes. It depends. We have that 6:30 to 9:30 option, and with the minimum of 2, they can either go starting at 6:30 to 8:30, or they do the full 3 hours. Usually, we don't do like a 7:30 to 9:30. It just depends on the business.
But you don't normally have water walking on Sunday nights.
No, when we don't have water walking on the weekends, evenings.
And I would assume you have no concerns with staff availability and things like that staying open another
No,
night?
I have over the last couple of years, and this being my 5th summer, developed a really good amount of staff that return that are over the age of 16, so they can work past that 9 o'clock. So I don't have concerns about those 5 Mondays.
How many businesses usually participate in the rental each
I think
summer?
last year, the last couple of years, we've had 7 Sunday available because we can't go into August
Sure.
because of staff leaving. So either 7 or 8, so all the Sundays in June and July.
We're full.
And like I
Wow.
said, we fill up
Okay.
by the middle of February, and
sure.
then we have businesses that are mad.
Yeah,
Sure.
Last year we had businesses that were late getting their request in, and we had already filled up, but yet they had done it for the 5 years previous, and so they were mad they didn't get in. But it's a first come first served basis.
Okay.
It's oddly competitive
Yes.
for their company party or whatever they.
I think it's a good idea if we get more people in there that wouldn't regularly be at the pool.
And a lot of them do it. A lot of the businesses open it up to families, not just the employees. So we're getting people coming in as well that then may come back during public hours on a later day.
Yep.
And you'll give the water walkers lots and lots of advance notice.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It would be on the original calendar going out.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, I would agree.
Do you want them to provide a recommendation and vote on a recommendation?
Probably, or we need to take it to city. Yeah. So if I could get a recommendation to take this further, I would appreciate it.
I move to go ahead and open up Monday nights for private rentals for the 5 Mondays.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Same sign, same. Good. Nay and yes. Okay. Well, since there isn't any more business,
I move we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Amen.
Thank you.